You bought Robinhood.
Yeah, but not post earnings. I bought
No,
Robinhood.
not post earnings, just post last episode.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so the stock almost hit the 60s last before earnings, before it started to go back up again. And I was like, damn, I might have to buy an extra share for Dustin.
No,
But
it's
but
I don't think it's gonna go down that quickly. Like even now. Like then again, like obviously our bet is for the entire year.
right.
Um, I who knows how long it'll be or if it'll ever get there, but I think I don't see 60 as happening like immediately. If it does, that would surprise me.
Right, right. But anyway, so I did buy some more before earnings, and then their earnings I thought were good. It wasn't like spectacular, but where they beat sort of like on analyst expectations. But they had record earnings of just shy of 1.3 billion in revenue. I think they missed analyst expectations by what, like a percent or two? What was the exact results?
Um,
Do you have it?
Let me pull it up.
But it was in the tens of millions of dollars on 1.3 billion of revenue.
Yeah, they missed
Yeah.
by
So
roughly 4%.
okay. So 1.28 billion as opposed to 1.33, and here and then by the way they beat on earnings per share 66 cents versus 63 cents, and um, their report was generally pretty fantastic. Their product lineup is really, really good. All their product revenues are growing. They're still transferring. There's still more money being transferred from other brokerages to Robinhood, this is one of the like important factors when you try to extrapolate what's going to happen over the next 5 to 10 years. For example, are they going to be, are they going to beat Schwab or Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley or some of these other sort of like large financial institutions? And the answer to that seems to be pretty obvious that like, yeah, these guys are going to be the next generation financial institution. Vlad also talked about their banking product, which is currently in beta. And if I'm not mistaken, he said something like they have 25,000 people on it. And those 25,000 people have already deposited $400 million of money into their banking product. Um, and more than half of them have already done uh, direct deposit of their checks, of their payroll into the Robinhood checking account. So when they go full on live with their banking product, that just seems like another venue or another product for them that is going to be rapidly growing. So that is pretty exciting. The existing products are growing rapidly. That's pretty exciting. The fact that like crypto is holding this company hostage for a little bit in the short term just seems comical to me, and like it's just very, very short-sighted in my opinion. And I'm looking at this 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Is Robinhood a company that I want to be owning more of at these prices, which is trading at roughly at 30, like a price earnings ratio in the 30s for a fast growing company? And that just seems like a no-brainer. So one of the comparisons that I make it to is that, in the 2000s or 2010s, if you were sort of like watching some of these great tech companies around you whose products you were using more and more of every single day, like Google and Amazon and Apple, and you just sat on the sidelines because in the short term, you thought that their stock price might be overvalued or it might go down a little bit here and there, and you didn't pull the trigger. But then you fast forward 10 years and you're like, oh God, it has now
All
10x
of that was
or
irrelevant.
all of that. Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things where, I look at Robinhood right now and I ask the question, does it have 10x opportunity in 10 years? And to me, that Robinhood seems to be one of those companies where the answer of having 10x opportunity in 10 years is easier for me to say yes to than some of the other companies. And that's why I'm excited about Robinhood. That's why I've added so much of it in the past couple of weeks. Now, I haven't added more since the earnings, but you never know. Like, again, my cash position is uncomfortably low, but but I might start trading some other stocks for it if it goes any lower, or if it gets into the 60s or your target of 54. Um, I would want to own more of it at those prices.
Yeah, I agree with your sentiment on the earnings call. Um, what I'm looking for after all the conversations we've had is there a catalyst that's going to decouple it from crypto? And again, I think it should be decoupled, but like,
Yeah.
is anything going to happen where the market's going to identify that? And I don't think that any catalyst occurred in the earnings call. There
No.
was a question about crypto. There might have been multiple. I didn't listen to all the Q&A, but there was a question earlier on, and I don't think Vlad answered it as well as he could have, where he was talking about how they're going to implement tokenization, which
Yeah.
has nothing to do with the price of
Correct.
Bitcoin or crypto as a whole. Like, they're implementing the technology. It doesn't matter if crypto's up, if crypto's down, it's
Right.
irrelevant. The way the market is currently handling the stock, that is not what they wanna hear. I don't think they understand the nuance of, like, the stock pr or the crypto price does not matter when it comes to tokenization. But then the CFO,
That's what I
piped
was
up, and
just gonna say.
I thought he was great, by the way, because he just
Yeah.
started, I think, earlier in February. He piped up and was like, "Crypto only represents 18% of our
Yes.
revenue," or whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say
But
because I also watched it, and Shiv stepped in, the CFO, and answered it perfectly, which is that it's just
yes.
18% of our revenue. Our revenue is very diverse. We have like more than 10 different products that each have over $100 million of annual recurring revenue. Um, so yeah, and by the way, Shiv is not new to the company. He's new to the CFO role. He's been there for multiple
Yes.
years. Shiv.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, but the
Um,
combination of the two of them, you can kind of see like the relaxed sort of like uh, environment. They're very much like executing perfectly. Vlad, who I presume is like setting the high level strategy, is just like watching this thing unroll beautifully. The company is so profitable that on $1.3 billion of revenue, they had over $600 million of profits, net profits. So the margins on this company are like unbelievably high, more than 40% net profit margins, which means that even if there's this massive fluctuation where their revenue goes down by 300 or $400 million in a given quarter because of market turmoil or whatever happens, they could just easily cushion that fall with just the margins that they have. So it is pretty exciting for them to be where they're at.
and I do wanna double click on the execution piece because Vlad mentioned, that they're leaning heavily on AI tools to help them develop rapidly, and I think this
Right.
is another example of AI being used to generate revenue effectively. Uh, so when there are these current concerns of, like, is there an AI bubble? No one's seeing any value from it. I think Robinhood is a prime example here. And I expect more companies need to be like Robinhood, where they're just executing well and quickly, uh, or they're not going to be able to survive. Because Robinhood's really acting like a small startup, not like a major company,
Yeah,
with the
totally.
speed that they're implementing these features.
They're pushing the envelope in so many different areas, and then they're also growing internationally. He mentioned that they have over 750,000 international customers, which they just launched that last year, and that is growing pretty rapidly. This kind of reminds me of when Netflix went international, and then initially it sort of started out small numbers, but then eventually the international market sort of outgrew the U.S. market for them. So there's lots of opportunities for a company like Robinhood where product wise it's executing brilliantly. It's very attractive to as a user interface to the next generation of investors. Um, and some things about them like the prediction markets are not like ideal because my perspective is that they should have separated that. But even that is getting so much traction and providing revenue opportunity for them that from a revenue growth perspective is pretty exciting. So um, very bullish on Robinhood, and the quarterly report doesn't change my perspective in that way.